Why is old school RuneScape so popular?
I made a video discussing the most popular MMORPGs going into 2025.
Okay.
And during my research, I was surprised to see that old school RuneScape has been one of the few MMOs to be consistently growing in player numbers year on year.
Yep.
It's to the point where it seems to currently be the second most popular MMORPG behind World of Warcraft.
No, actually? That's crazy. If you don't know, guys, I recently started playing old school RuneScape for the first time ever as well. I started yesterday, and I've been having fun so far. It's been very overwhelming, but extremely fun.
Now, as a channel that covers the MMO genre as a whole, I've seen from my YouTube comments that OSRS is a highly polarizing game, and people who have never played it before but come from other MMOs like World of Warcraft, Black Desert Online, or Final Fantasy XIV generally can't understand why it's so popular, and I can definitely understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
From the outside looking in, if you've never played it before, the game...
Dude, I will say, like, as a person that's never touched OSRS, whenever I saw footage, I was like, why would you play this? Because it looks so, like, I don't know, it looks kind of bland, but the questing is amazing. There's a lot of depth to the game. It's a very heavy focus on RPG, which I really like, so that's really sick.
Looks really bad. Out-of-date graphics, point-and-click gameplay, weird user interface, and a progression system that's completely alien to every other MMO.
Yeah.
Surely the only reason people play this game is nostalgia, right? Well, not exactly. Whilst nostalgia can result in a temporary boost in player numbers, as we've seen from a number of classic servers of various MMOs, it pretty much never results in long-term player growth over time.
True.
OSRS is more popular now than it was back in 2007, which is the version of RuneScape that OSRS initially built upon. That'd be the same as World of Warcraft releasing classic servers and beating its peak sub count record of 12 million back in 2010 during peak Wrath.
That's actually nuts.
Additionally, my previous OSRS video had tons of comments from people who only recently started playing the game, but never played it back in the day, so...
That's how it is for me as well. I'm looking at this is like a website called MMO Population. It says it's ranked 7 at the moment, but still, it's almost reaching a daily player base of like 800,000. It dropped a little bit here, it looks like, but also I don't really know how active this is, to be honest, but there's a lot of freaking people playing this game. Yeah, it's crazy.
Nostalgia clearly isn't a factor here. In this video, I'm going to attempt to explain why old school RuneScape is so popular to the people who have never played it before, what makes it so different from every other MMO, and why your experience in games like World of Warcraft, BDO, or any other MMO will not carry over to RuneScape, because it really is in its own category of MMORPG.
True, yeah.
But first, please support the content by listening to today's sponsor.
I'll listen in, dude. I'll also thank Bladley for the Prime for 6 months. Thank you so much.
Girls Frontline 2 Exilium, a brand new 3D strategy RPG available on mobile and PC. The game features a gorgeous non-photorealistic art style, deep turn-based combat, and a gripping storyline that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Lead your T-dolls through treacherous terrain, utilizing cover and elemental advantages, and outmaneuver your enemies with clever tactics. But there's much more than just battles. Immerse yourself in the fully 3D refitting room and dormitory, where you can interact with your T-dolls, customize their outfits, and watch them relax in their downtime. It's the perfect way to connect with your favorite characters.
Why are they're jiggling when she's sitting down?
And for launch, you can snag some dolls. The targeted procurement banner features increased drop rates for Suomi and Ulrid, plus other powerful units, so don't miss out on the chance to strengthen your squad. The best part though, Girls Frontline 2 Exilium is showering you with rewards. Claim up to 120 free pulls just from playing, including the standard doll Groza, the elite doll Vepli, exclusive outfits, weapon skins, and tons of resources. Download Girls Frontline 2 Exilium today on mobile or PC and experience the future of tactical combat. Click the link in the description to start your journey and claim those rewards.
I'm downloading it,
to explain why old school RuneScape is so popular, we're going to break it down into what I believe are the main reasons. Being MMO design, player retention and updates, content creators, temporary game modes, the state of the MMO genre, RuneLite, and the future of the game.
Cool. Timeless game design.
When it comes to game design, RuneScape is completely unique in the MMO genre, and whilst this is definitely a big reason for the game's success, as there's no real alternative for people who enjoy RuneScape's approach to design, it's also likely the reason why so many people just don't get it. If you come from WoW, Final Fantasy XIV, Guild Wars 2, Black Desert Online, or basically any other MMO with a relatively linear progression system, you're likely going to be completely lost.
RuneScape seems very sandboxy, where it's just, you could just get kind of thrown into the world. It doesn't really feel like there's a certain way you should play. And I think for a lot of MMO players, that can be very off-putting. I kind of approached it myself in a way where, like, I just started doing quests. And wherever quests are taking me, that's where I'm going, right? And then that's how I'm doing it at the moment. I don't know if that's the best way to go about it, but at least I'm having fun.
You'll get off Tutorial Island, arrive in Lumbridge, and probably be looking for some kind of direction in the form of a linear main quest line to take you through the game.
The quest unlocks so much content, starting with quests is good. I think for me, that's the best way to go about it. Because, like, I'm getting introduced to the different zones, the mechanics, and how that works, right? Being an MMO main does something to your ability to play other games. It really does, Parsh. Yeah, it does.
RuneScape doesn't work like that. Then you'll probably be confused by the stats, the lack of a class system, and ultimately be left directionless, confused and frustrated when trying to apply your previous MMO knowledge to RuneScape. If I was to try and explain how OSRS works to a WoW player as concisely as possible, it'd go something like this. RuneScape is a sandbox MMO that's all about goal setting at every stage of your character's progression. Unlike WoW, which has a level-based system, OSRS has 23 distinct skills which can be trained from levels 1 to 99. Questing in RuneScape is heavily tied into the game's skill system, in that many quests have skill level requirements before you can complete them. Your character progression in OSRS isn't done primarily via questing like WoW, but mostly through skilling and mob grinding.
Makes sense.
Quests are goals in themselves that players work towards, as powerful weapons, armor, utility items, or convenience items are often locked behind quest completion. The beauty of the OSRS skill system is that you can progress in whatever order you like. Want to focus on combat first and work towards badass gear? You can do that.
That's actually a really good way of explaining it. Guzu copying Matt Season? Yeah, man, I'm copying him, man. Yeah, sorry. Dude, I apologize, man.
Focus on skilling and money making and ignore the questing? You can also do that. Generally, the ultimate endgame goal for most OSRS players is to complete every quest in the game, max out every skill, and obtain best in slot gear for each attack and combat style. To achieve this is a journey that will take the average player well over 4,000 hours. Along the way though, you'll complete hundreds of mini-goals, each giving you satisfying releases of dopamine.
This game is a dopamine simulator though, I will say, because it's like small little goalposts. It's like you have that little carrot in front of you all times, like, oh, you want to level up one more? Oh, you're one step closer. Oh, and then you get really far in agility. Let's do a little bit of wood cutting, you know? And then it's like constant dopamine of like small little, you know, things that you're achieving. Which is good, you know, because that keeps you engaged.
OSRS is also...
Usually as a WoW player, I really love the leveling, the journey, gearing up, getting 60 in Vanilla WoW, for instance. But once I kind of have my gear and I've done my raid, I lose a bit of interest because then my goals are not as like constant anymore. I don't really have like a lot of things to, because I got my epic mount, my professions are maxed, I got all my gear, I've done the raid, you know, it's just like I've done it. It's just like, no, okay, now we wait for the new raid to come out and we do that. That's why the journey is the best part in WoW. And it seems to me like RuneScape, yeah, is just the journey, like all the time, which is for some people amazing and for others they hate it, right?
Normally a game about achieving incremental upgrades to a
Matt Season was actually the first WoW player to ever play RuneScape. Yeah, no other people can ever do it. It's the same thing when we started watching, doing like some reacts on stream, and people were like, "Are you copying Asmongold? Only Asmongold can watch videos on his stream." Get the fuck out of here, bitch.
Efficiency, power, and utility over a very long period of time, in whatever order or method the player deems to be the most efficient or the most fun.
Player retention. Okay.
Player retention is definitely another reason why old school RuneScape has been growing over the past few years.
Yeah.
As I previously mentioned, this game has thousands of hours worth of content and goal setting.
Yeah.
So its long-term player base has a massive amount of investment and attachment to their characters and progress. Unlike theme park MMOs such as WoW and Final Fantasy XIV, your progress in OSRS feels much more permanent.
Okay.
In WoW, for example, your character's level and gear score is only relevant for the expansion or patch you've achieved it in. If you take a break from the game for a few months up to a year, then come back, you're weak, possibly just as weak as a player that's dropped $40 to boost a character to max level.
That's actually a really good point. I never thought about that. Because of how the leveling system works in OSRS, you'll never lose that. Even if they release new content, you will still have all your levels and all your skills.
Your time investment when it comes to player power is extremely temporary. In OSRS, this isn't the case. If you take a break, then come back a year or two later, your previous progress hasn't been invalidated.
Yeah, this is the highest level, right? It's basically horizontal progression. I kind of like that. That's actually kind of cool. I never thought about that.
This
so
is
when
because
you're done and there's nothing left to do? No, because it's not a vertical progression. There's still gonna be new content coming out, but that won't invalidate your previous progression that you've done in the past, right? So there'll be new content for you to do, but it'll be in a different way. It'll not be in a power scaling way.
new content is generally not designed to invalidate old content.
And I feel like this kind of game where like you will never really be done, right? It is what it is. What's up, Mufford? Good to see you, bro.
An example of this can be seen with Barrow's armor and the Abyssal Whip. These items were added to the game back in 2005, yet they're still items that players use and grind for even today.
That's cool.
As they're still useful depending on the situation or your stage of progression. As MMO players, we hate feeling like our time has been wasted, so just knowing that you can take a break from the game for as long as you want, then pick it up right where you left off, makes OSRS a very easy MMO to return to.
Fair.
This is something Guild Wars 2 also does very well with its horizontal progression focused design.
Armor trimming? Okay, so is armor trimming actually a thing?
Unquack.
Or is that a meme? Like, because I don't get it. The meme was created by people who can't trim armor. Okay.
Some MMOs have you logging in every day to complete time-gated content and stay on some kind of gear treadmill for a long period of time. You miss a day and you feel like you're falling behind.
Yeah.
There's a constant pressure to log in even when you don't want to.
I can trim your armor in the wilderness if you want. Shut up.
Because you want to keep up. OSRS doesn't have this issue. Old school RuneScape isn't a game where you ever feel like you're falling behind because you're not on a typical progression treadmill.
Okay.
The game doesn't start at endgame. The player population is rather evenly distributed at early, mid, and late game.
Yeah,
because veteran
dude, I was surprised to see how many people we saw yesterday when I played. Obviously, there was quite a few people just like, you know, wanting to be on stream and stuff, but there was actually people playing and running around. This morning, I logged in as well to do a little bit of agility just for fun, you know, while I was doing some other things. And there was actually people playing.
Players frequently make new characters to experience content with self-imposed restrictions, whether
Basically, people who trim for free are scammers. I charge 25k. Okay. Okay, so trimming for free is a scam. Got it. Okay.
be with a standard Iron Man, hardcore Iron Man, group or ultimate Iron Man, or even challenging themselves to beat the game's hardest content on a 1 defense pure, for example.
What is this boss?
When new content is added
these
to
bosses as well?
OSRS in the form of bosses, raids, areas, and quests, the rewards are usually carefully designed to fill a niche and not replace something that already exists. There's no single weapon or armor that's best in slot for every situation. Your gear and weapon choice depends on what monster you're fighting and the attack style it's weak to.
Okay.
So players will be constantly switching between multiple gear setups. Additionally, some gear sets are only good versus certain types of monsters, such as the Dragon Hunter Lance and Crossbow, which is best in slot when fighting dragons. Due to this approach to design, the devs can add new content with powerful rewards to the game without invalidating old content and contributing to power creep.
That's cool. I like that. I like that it's like you don't... Because I feel like that's one of the issues with Season of Discovery, where like everything just became so disgustingly overpowered, and like now in Scarlet Enclave, we're essentially at Cataclysm numbers of damage, because the vertical power creep is so crazy, instead of having like more specialized things for it, right? So, I mean, shout out to old school RuneScape for nailing that.
Out of every MMO I've ever played, OSRS has hands down the best content creators.
Honestly fucking true. The old school RuneScape, like, YouTube scene is, I think, out of all the MMOs, the best. The RuneScape YouTubers, and they make good-ass videos. They really do.
and I think they've definitely played a big role in the game.
The only content creators I know from RuneScape is Bodhi and Jimmy, and obviously I've seen some people here and there post videos too, but all the videos I see from RuneScape are always very, very well made.
Growing over the past few years. OSRS content on YouTube is kind of wild, with some videos getting views in the millions.
Oh yeah, this guy, I've seen this guy too. Settled up, wow, 5.4 milli, that's crazy.
Is obviously a lot higher than the active player numbers. I think this goes to show that even when people take a break from the game, they still consume content about it, which keeps it in the public consciousness, making the game very easy to return to.
True.
OSRS is also quite big on Twitch and Kick, with the biggest streamers pulling in thousands of live viewers. Odablock in particular is absolutely crushing it.
Odablock, okay. Temporary game modes.
In recent years, old school...
So this is why you're getting into RuneScape. No, I've been wanting to get into it for a while, and I feel like the reason why I never got into RuneScape was because I just played so much WoW, and I can't juggle two MMOs. I really can't. And now I'm having a little bit of a break from WoW and doing other things, so I figured, you know what, let's freaking try it now. Let's see how it is, dude.
RuneScape has released temporary game modes for both PvP and PvE in the form of leagues and Deadman mode. The release...
Marford is same, if I hadn't played WoW, I would probably play RuneScape instead. Honestly, I think so too, because it seems like an MMO I like. It seems like the style of MMO I like, so I think I was just kind of stuck in WoW, because WoW was just what I played, right? But now we're giving it a try. I kind of like all the old graphics. It looks like a game, if it makes sense. Yeah, it does.
The release of leagues in particular have seen the game reach record concurrent player counts year on year, with the most recent league reaching over 207k concurrent.
Damn.
OSRS leagues last for about 2 months and feature massively accelerated XP and drop rates, new bosses, overpowered items, and an alternative progression system with relics and masteries. It's basically a temporary mode that everyone jumps on for a few months to get a fun, unbalanced experience comparable to that of a private server.
I like that.
Not only have these temporary game modes been incredible from a content creation point of view, but it's also been a good reason for old players to return to the game and for new players to give it a try.
Interesting. No, that's kind of interesting. I think that's what PoE does too. They have leagues as well, and it's really fun for like hypes of content, right? You know. I played both at the same time, one screen on WoW, two on OSRS. That's fair. I mean, old school RuneScape is a game you can kind of just chill on the side, right?
The absolute state of the MMO genre as a whole is another reason why I believe old school RuneScape is growing.
Okay.
If you look at the most played MMOs, something like 4 out of the top 15 have been released in the past 5 years.
True.
The biggest games in the genre are all pretty old at this point.
Yep.
Over the past decade,
it's essentially, I feel like I want to see this this graph again.
The biggest games in the genre are all pretty old at this point.
It's pretty much impossible to get into... Wait, Baldur's Gate 3 count as MMO? Okay, this is kind of cooked. Path of Exile MMO. Okay, this is kind of weird. But it's pretty much an impossible market to get into, man. Like, because MMO players are also just so locked into what they like, right?
Over the past decade, we've had countless MMOs shut down, become increasingly pay to win, or be dead on arrival. I think a lot of MMO players are tired of waiting for the next big MMO to come along, and are realizing that they can just save themselves the disappointment by just being content with what already exists.
True.
Additionally, compared to other MMOs in the genre, OSRS is one of the least pay to win, especially if you play an Iron Man. Your visual progression isn't diminished by some dog shit.
I'm playing Iron Man, by the way. I'm hardcore Iron Man, by the way, guys. So yeah, I'm doing that.
Cosmetics, and the game isn't dick slapping you with cash shop pop-ups and special offers every 5 minutes. Good. I think people appreciate that, and it's refreshing to play OSRS after coming from one of the MMOs that do suffer from that.
Why is it growing? RuneLite?
In 2022, Jagex made the decision to officially support the third-party RuneLite client directly from their launcher.
This is what I play with.
Changed the way the player base interact with the game forever. The RuneLite client has completely transformed OSRS by providing plugins that allow players to customize their entire gameplay experience. Everything from quest helper, graphics mods, tile markers, NPC aggression timers, various UI overlays, and basically anything else you can think of to give the player more information and visual convenience. Some people say that RuneLite has made OSRS easyscape, and yes, in some ways it has. But for me personally, I've definitely enjoyed the game much more since using it compared to the vanilla client, primarily due to the quest helper. At the end of the day...
Yeah, I haven't played with the quest helper yet. I decided not not to play with it in the beginning. I might change my mind about that a bit later on, but currently I am playing without a quest helper. I assume I'll probably start using it at some point, but currently I'm not.
OSR.
Honestly, I was also really freaking surprised at like how in-depth the quests are. Because in WoW, it's like, okay, go kill some boars, bring back their meat. Go pick up some cactus apples, bring back them. Go pick up some tools, bring back the tools. Go escort this guy, bring it back. RuneScape is a lot of like, it's an RPG, man. Like you go, there's like some lore, there's like a little cutscene. Quite surprised at how in-depth it is for the time it's been made in. It's actually quite impressive. That's my main thing that I was surprised about, honestly, about the game. The quests are sorted by difficulty and length. You can enable it for higher ones. Ah, I see. Got it.
OSRS is a very personal
The Slayer skill is basically fetch quests, kill X enemies in return. Okay.
experience, so I think the player having more choice in regards to information and visuals thanks to RuneLite has been a net positive overall, and another contributing factor to the game's growth.
Labikoski says, I've played OSRS and on and off since elementary school, and I never read the quests. Yesterday I learned that Romeo is a hella player. Bro, that my favorite quest so far is the Romeo and Juliet one. That freaking reveal at the, that was so freaking hilarious. That was so funny. Also, the one with the goblins was really fun too. But my favorite quest so far is the Romeo and Juliet one. Yeah.
The final reason why I believe old school RuneScape has been growing is the game has an exciting future.
Yeah.
No one wants to invest thousands of hours into an MMO that's dying.
True.
With OSRS climbing in player numbers year on year, new players don't have to worry about the game shutting down and their progress being deleted anytime soon. There's a lot of content to look forward to in the future. The official HD mode, which will likely bring a lot of fresh players to the game who are put off by the old school graphics.
Yeah, I like the HD mode. I don't like the 177 whatever, the 117 thing, but I liked the normal HD. I think that looks really nice.
We've got Project Xanaris, which basically allows the community to make their own custom private servers, the potential for new skills to be introduced, new areas to explore, future leagues, and improvements to existing skills. The game's already proven itself to be timeless, so the future's
Xanaris got cancelled? Oh, rip.
looking good. But those are the main reasons why I believe OSRS has been growing in popularity over the past few years, and why it's not going anywhere anytime soon. If you can think of any other reasons for its success that I forgot to mention, then I'd love to read it in the comments below. If you enjoyed the vid, then please help us out with a like for the algorithm. Social media on screen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
This was a really good video. I really like watching this, and I think he nailed a lot of the points that I couldn't really express, but I had like a feeling about them, so that's awesome. Good video from Lazy Peon. I really like this guy a lot. He makes awesome MMO content, guys. So I'll link it here. Check it out. Let me know what you guys think in the YouTube as well. And yeah, awesome stuff. The Lazy Peon is a good-looking dude. He used to, I think he's from England, and he moved to Thailand, and he got into like Muay Thai, and like he got really in shit. Dude, he's awesome. He's a freaking Giga Chat.